Hey guys, how's it going? It's Baggins here. Welcome back to some more Crucible. We're going to be going over some Crucible news today. As you've seen, Crucible. Now let's not waste any time. Let's just jump into it. So if you are interested, if you haven't seen it, I'll put links to the roadmap, the developer update video, and the website post all in the description down below. But for those of you who haven't seen, Crucible's kind of doing pretty bad right now, like really bad. It's got less than 1,000 people playing it on Steam. I checked on Twitch, there was 50 people watching. So yeah, things looking pretty bad in Crucible, but what are the developers doing to make it better? Well, the developers agree that the launch of the game was pretty poop. It was not a great launch, and there are things that they definitely could have done better. But at this point, it has happened, so how are they going to try and actively make it better? Well, they said to start with that the game is going to be staying in pre-season, which I think is like Amazon talk for early access. I think there's some sort of rules with them being Amazon and what they've been told from, you know, the big boss Bezos man, that they can't actually call the game early access. Amazon can't make an early access game, potentially, but instead they are going with this title of pre-season. But for all intents and purposes, I'm just assuming it means early access or beta, alpha, whatever you want to call it. So while the game is in preseason, they're going to be going through these two different phases. So in phase 1 was going to be a bunch of different stuff we're looking into the game. And then phase 2, it's kind of more a refinement system and more polish. And it's also going to be based on the feedback that you guys give them. So the big news before we jumped into the actual breakdown of the phases, Heart of the Hives is now going to be the only game mode in Crucible. They're going to be getting rid of the Alpha Hunters, which is the Battle Royale-esque style game mode very, very soon. And then further down the line, once the new players know how to actually play Heart of the Hives, then they will be taking away Harvester Command. So there's only going to be one game mode in Crucible in the long run. And they say that by having just this one game mode, it'll be much easier to balance the characters, balance the map, balance the creatures, just generally make the game a better experience by only having to play around one game mode. And honestly, I think this makes sense. I think having 3 different game modes at launch is pretty ambitious. Just focus on doing one thing and doing it well. In my opinion, Heart of the Hives is my favorite game mode, but I do know a lot of people enjoy a good bit of casual Harvester Command, and indeed, here on the YouTube, you guys seem to enjoy watching Alpha Hunters the most since it does represent a Battle Royale style of gameplay, which obviously Battle Royale is still pretty popular to this day. But it's going away. Heart of the Hives is going to be the focus of the game, so we're going to see Crucible transition into more of a MOBA-esque style game, but not fully, obviously, being that it is Crucible and it's kind of unique. So that's the big news. Now jumping into the smaller things and the breakdown of phase 1 and phase 2. As you can see on the screen here, the things that are green are listed for phase 1, and those are going to be coming immediately, probably in a patch, hopefully next week. We're going to see voice chat coming in, a surrender option. If you feel like, you know, the match can't be won, you can surrender, so you don't just have to go AFK, which is another system that they're looking at dealing with. How to get rid of AFK players, how to deal with AFK players, where they'll be able to kick them, or they'll just won't be able to queue into another match for a while. We'll have to wait and see. They're also going to be improving the ping system in the game. Right now it is pretty basic, pretty lackluster, so if you need somebody that doesn't particularly want to use voice comms, but you still want to have an advantage, maybe looking towards more of a ping system like in Apex Legends, which is very excellent. They're also going to be adding some kind of minimap. They don't exactly state what sort of minimap. I mean, I imagine just a minimap in the top right would be good, but I guess they've got some logistics to figure out on that one. And while all of this is going on, they're also going to be improving frame rate, hit feedback, combat feel, matchmaking, and the new player experience. So just generally, like, all of the stuff that Crucible needs to improve on is going to be getting improved on. Fingers crossed that the frame rate does see a fairly significant bump, but I know based on what they've told us in the past that it's not just like, and then the frame rate is fixed. It is going to be a gradual, continuous thing. But yeah, phase 1 looking pretty good. The sooner this stuff gets into the game, the sooner we can start claiming back a play base and people actually care about watching these videos. But thanks to the 7 of you that are actually watching this Crucible video, if you do like this Crucible news sort of content that I'm doing, make sure you go ahead and click that like button. Anyway, going into phase 2, this, as I mentioned, is going to be based on the feedback that you guys give the Crucible devs on phase 1, like what would you like to see more of. But there are also some specifics that they're going to be looking at adding, which includes a custom games feature. So this will enable you to play custom games with your friends if you're playing from Australia or some far off region that isn't very well populated. it, you could guarantee get a game on that server with the custom games feature and invite your Australian friends in. They're also going to be looking to redo the map a bit and make it more based on Heart of the Hives. They're going to be updating the map, and again, this is based on player feedback. They've already made a Reddit post for what the favorite areas of the map are for the players, so if you're interested, links to that in the description down below. But yeah, map redo. They're also going to be making some changes to the creatures as well, so the Stompers, Spitters, Lurkers, Hive, maybe adding more creatures. Map changes, creature changes. They're also going to be adding a friends list into the game, or at least, like, it's kind of not a bit vague what they mean, but the Steam friends list system can be integrated into the game. So hopefully you can have a friends list within the game that isn't from your Steam's friends list, because kind of adding everybody that you want to play through onto the Steam friends list, which has a limited capacity, is a bit of a pain in the butt. But yeah, friends list system coming into the game, and then they said even more improvements coming to the frame rate, the hit feedback, and the matchmaking. Just like that's a continuous sort of improvement system that's going to be happening in phase 2, as well as just general polish of the game. To end out on the video, Colin hit on a few different points. He said that there's going to be continuous new builds coming to Crucible all the time, so hopefully a weekly, bi-weekly patch system, like just update. So there's always new stuff to talk about, new stuff to players to check out, and keep the players confident that the game isn't just dying. You know, the developers are still working on it. This is something that they state is going to be the case. The Crucible developers are not giving up on the game. They're very adamant about that. Nobody's leaving the team. They're going to continue to work on Crucible. So despite its initial kind of really big flop coming out the door, they are determined to pick the game up and put it to where they want it to be, which is awesome to hear. I personally love this game, and I know obviously a few of you guys watching this video must be somewhat interested in it and want to see Crucible do well as well. They do state that they're going to be working on some community events soon, including the first sort of grassroots tournaments. So I don't know if there's going to be big money involved in here, or if indeed any prizes, or it's just going to be for the glory. But some tournaments being organized by the developers and some community events to play with the developers. So I'll probably be getting involved in a few of those, provided my schedule isn't too crazy. So look forward to some Crucible tournaments in the near future. They're also going to be continuing to push out these developer updates as well. Looking at this most recent developer update, it's obvious that the development team are still working from home, or at least like when they're recording these videos anyway. You look at the developer update videos that we've had from Crucible so far compared to the other Amazon game, New World, and you look at the developer updates in that video, it's obvious that between those and what we have now, coronavirus has hit, which has set everybody to working from home, which, you know, at least in these community videos can create a bit of an amateur looking video versus a professional looking video, but that's not their fault. But hopefully if we do get to see the world return to normal in terms of coronavirus soon, then the developers can get back into office and maybe everything can be ramped up, the quality and the speed. I don't know if that actually affects the Amazon dev team, but that's maybe something to bear thinking about that they didn't really mention in the video. Anyway, that's been my quick Crucible news update. Again, if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure you go ahead and click that like button. I'll make sure to keep pushing out these daily update videos, provided people are interested in watching them. So you gotta let me know if you are interested. Otherwise, I had a fun 5 seconds making that intro. All right, that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you all in the next one.